it's amply clear. There 100% there is a clarity. Only question is, do we want that clarity, or do we want to mix up everything? Do we have a commitment to learn? Do we have a sincerity? Or only one fundamental question: do we want to change our life? So, in the first lesson, we understood Upanishads are Shruti texts. Shruti means they are heard, they are revealed, the knowledge is revealed. But in order to understand logical fashion, the Brahma Sutra is the second text, followed by Gita, that gives us a lot of practices, practical aspect. So we also understood that there are three fundamental aspects. I don't know, let me know it. And before knowing it, I must understand the intellect, mind, and action, the body. Huh? Do you remember, do you recall the intellect must have a right knowledge? If it does not have a right knowledge, then what happens? The mind with its desire takes over. And the mind with its desire takes over. That is the cause of all the sufferings in our life. You can give me any example, and I will make you understand. That mind is seeking something other than me outside to secure peace, happiness, love, wisdom.
Hang on a second, Girish, will you? Guys, will everybody mute themselves?
Yes, everybody should mute so that I can speak.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is what we understood, and gradually we move to the mantra, and we understand that every verse or phrase or a sentence or a couplet or a sutra is a mantra. And we also understood that mantra is nothing but it destroys the mind that causes the suffering. That is another way to put it. And I gave a brief reference of the Tantra, Mantra, and Yantra. The most important thing in the mantra in the Upanishads is that they are Shanti mantras. Shanti means peace. Are you in peace now? I believe, I hope. I know we use different words. I hope, I believe, I dream that you are all in peace. So that listening will bring the result. So Shanti mantra. So we understood one most important point in the mantra, that majority of these Upanishads contain more or less the same mantras. There are 8 or 9 mantras, they are being repeated in different texts. So that proves our point. What is that point? That if I understand that mantra, I understand the entire Upanishad. So there is a most important Upanishad. It is Taittiriya Upanishad, Katho Upanishad, and Shvetashvar Upanishad. These three principal Upanishad contains a mantra. What is that mantra? We'll understand that, then we'll go further. And understanding and applying that mantra in your daily life will change your life. Then you don't need this beard guy to understand all these Upanishads. I have a luxury to have beard. You don't have. So there is a mantra. It mantras. Huh? So listen attentively. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahviryam Karva Vahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You see, the last line is Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So hence it is Shanti Mantra, coming from three major Upanishads. So let me chant one first line and chant at least a couple of times. Listen to it attentively. Om Sahana Vavatu. 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 Why I have chosen this mantra? There are many other mantras also. It builds the relationship between the master and the seeker with clear understanding. Even if there is a crazy teacher and you are a right seeker, it will benefit you. Understand this point, very important. So it means what? As a seeker, I respect all the teachers. Why? I have to check whether I am a seeker and I am following the path. The master came to all the disciples one day. There were 50. The master has been teaching for about a year. The master asked all the students, tell me, what is most important in the Eastern wisdom and its teaching? So one student said, sir, you are the most important. You are guru. You know everything. Master said, sit down. He asked the second one, sir, the text is very important. Sit down. Third, he said, sir, monastery is very important. We make a plan to go on a vacation, intense, what we say? No, intensive retreat. Intensive retreat. So, Master said, sit down. He was not happy. Even after teaching for a year, he was not happy that these students did not understand. But then all the students requested, then what is most important? He said the seeker is the most important. The teacher of yoga, if he or she does not make the student important, the most important, who is the seeker of a knowledge. Now think of the scenario why he said students are not there. What is the benefit of having a text? It is lying dusting. We keep all the great books in our room. Have we read it? Have we studied it? Bet you are okay? Yes. And you see, teacher is of no value if the seeker is not there. Knowledge is of no value. See that, understand that. So it does not mean that I have to build ego. No, I'm ego. I'm a seeker. No, I have to work in my mind to become a seeker. I just came to my mind. Tat karma yanna bandhai sa vidya ya vimuktai beautiful verse come from another group of the text which is known as Purana. We have 18 Purana. And 18 Puranas, these texts are, I would say, contain more than maybe 50,000 pages of the text, all the 18 texts. They explain these principles in the form of stories, parables, examples, but they teach the same principles. So it came to my mind. So one thing, sa vidya ya vimuktaye, that is very important. What Eastern wisdom teaches? That knowledge by which I bring an end to the suffering and awaken to my true nature. Now, pick up any branch of the science. Have you seen the doctors, they study the medical science? Are they free from stress? You might have read and perhaps heard the statements of our Fauci. I feel liberating. Why you feel liberated? No, with due respect. You have to find that liberation inside you. That is the difference. So what it says, sa vidya ya vimukta. My mind instantly goes to those principles. Okay, I love you, Dr. Fauci, but what you are saying does not stand on the truth of what Eastern wisdom teaches. Why you should depend on your peace and happiness on others? So understand that knowledge by which we bring an end to the suffering. That is why Upanishad means study Upanishads to study yourself. Now we are coming to the mantra. First mantra, do you remember? Om Sahana Bhavatu. What is the meaning of this? Now understand. Meaning of Om Sahana Bhavatu. Literal meaning, together may we move to study Upanishad, study Eastern wisdom. Together. Who is together? One is the teacher, other is the seeker. Look at the meaning. That teacher also becomes a student while learning, because that teacher is expressing the knowledge that he received from the text, from the teachings of the master. Om Sahana Vavatu. Sahana Vavatu, another understanding, protect us together. Sahana Vavatu, huh? Protect us together. Why to protect? And to whom? Can you guess to whom we have to protect? The teacher should also be protected, and the seeker also to be protected from what? From what? Now see that the teacher who is teaching, he is aware that the teacher and the seeker are essentially one and the same. But the seeker is aware that he or she is different from the teacher. So, what is the role of a teacher? The role of a teacher in the Upanishad is to point out to that knowledge by which you know that the real self in you and in the teacher are essentially one. Are you getting it? Om Sahana Vavatu. Did you get it? Did this knowledge make a sense? What happens in the formal education? That is the way the yoga should be taught. Are you getting it? Now question comes, Om Sahana Vavatu, protect us together. From what? From whom? protect us from laziness, craziness, and obsession of the mind. Neither teacher nor the seeker should be closed in its mind and intellect. Both should be open to knowledge. Knowledge does not change. We should together get the knowledge without any preferences, without any like, without any dislikes. Hence, protect. Are you getting it? Can we express ourselves in that mode where we are protected from laziness, craziness, obsession of the mind, unnecessary argument? You see, a lot of stuff. Huh? But it does not mean that as a teacher, I don't know the real principles and I say, why you are arguing? So you have opened the argument. So we have to contemplate and reflect again and again. Do you see that? So here one thing is very important, that the teacher and the seeker are both on the same level outwardly. Inside, the teacher knows that the real self in me and the seeker is essentially one, and the seeker does not know the real self in me and the teacher are different. Hence, the teacher has to point out that knowledge by which we come to a point. Clear? So it means in this teaching of the Upanishads or the yoga, there should not be the enemies in the mind. What are those enemies? Desire, anger, greed. Huh? Desire, anger, greed, delusion, pride, and jealousy. You should not be jealous that I have a long, beautiful beard. So you should be. So, Sahano, huh? Sahana Vavatu. That is the meaning of the first. So now see the positive impact of this. Together we should encourage goodness. So learning Eastern wisdom starts when we are ready to encourage goodness, drive away the enemies in the mind, and we should not be lazy in learning and listening and receiving the knowledge. Neither the teacher should be lazy and crazy in giving the knowledge. So it means what? What is the ultimate result? Can you imagine? You see, this is I'm teaching you from the commentary of one great master, Shankara. This is the commentary given on this mantra. Did I tell you that I must study the commentary on a particular Upanishad from a great master in order to gain the right knowledge? I should not start understanding based on the scientific principle. I have already given you an example. The manual of iPhone and the Android are different. Principles are different. Remember, you have to keep in mind. So if you don't keep in mind, then you are not a seeker. So what is the ultimate result? Can you imagine? That is the beauty of this mantra. First line, that the teacher and the seeker, they respect each other. They always try to be in the state of mindfulness while learning, while listening, while teaching. Do you understand? You see that? That level of awareness and attention is required. Om Sahana Vavatu. Second line, Sahano Bhunaktu. Sahano Bhunaktu. What is the meaning of Sahano Bhunaktu? We should both encourage goodness. But another meaning, that there should be a proper livelihood, shelter, food, and the livelihood to be done together. Sahanau bhunaktu. It means you should also live. I should not steal, or I should not hijack all the money that you have, and neither the teacher, neither the seeker should shy away in helping the teacher for their livelihood. That is one meaning. Now, that meaning has been distorted everywhere. You see that? We have a yoga studio, we don't charge. It is service. What kind of a service you are offering? Why? No, I'm questioning. I'm not saying that is why I did not open the studio. I said I'm not going to open it. People say in that studio they charge so little, you charge so much, etc., etc. A lot of stuff. So, what is the message here? Protect and nurture each other. Protect, nourish, and the nurture each other. Sahanau bhunaktu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Are you getting it? Are you with me? Protect is one thing, as if the father, you see someone is harming, you protect. You are a father or a mother, you protect your kids. Similarly, when there is a protection together, nourishment together, nurture together, then what happens? The mind is free. Mind is always free. Then there is a bonding, and that bonding is beyond the body, the mind. That bonding is at the higher level of awareness. Both are focused on the reality, the knowledge of the reality. Clear? Third line, Sahaviryam Karva Vahi. Our intellect and the mind should work together with a tremendous energy, awareness, and attention. That is the meaning of this. Means energy of both the seeker and the teacher. Seeker should also ask the right question, and the teacher should also point out the answer as he received the knowledge from his master. Now, here we say this is my mindfulness practice, and this is yours. Yours is the worst, and mine is the best. I see a lot of people. I have no objection to them. I listen to them and I said, I'm good. I'm good. But is your mindfulness or meditation practice based on the principles of the Eastern wisdom that you received from the teachers? No, this is my invention. The intellect added with the ego sense. Then yours is no practice at all. Forget about whether it is good or bad. You don't follow those principles. That is the way of the teaching and learning in the Eastern wisdom. Sahaviryam karva vahi. Now see that here one point is also to be understood. Yeah, I am referring to the Brahma Sutra that is known as the Nyaya Prasthana. So when we say Sahaviryam karva vahe, so understand one reasoning. One is wrong reasoning, other is right reasoning, and third is reasoning without any result. So they categorize that you ask the question that is directed to the goal. So when it is directing opposite to the goal, then it is a wrong logic, wrong reasoning. Oh, you are talking of real self. You are talking that is located deep inside the heart, at the center of the heart, which we say. Remember that when I say heart, it is the center of the rib cage. That heart is the seat of pure consciousness, the real self. We are not talking the physical heart, which the medical science talks. Be very clear. Every word has its clarity. Huh? So now see the wrong logic. The scientist asks, can you show me the real self? Can you prove? So what is wrong in asking that question? It appears it is right. He's saying the right question. Now go back. What are the three instruments of knowledge? Do you remember? Sense organs are the instrument of knowledge to see the material world. Mind is an instrument of knowledge that gives me the knowledge of the phenomena, the natural phenomena, the material phenomena. These two instruments of knowledge are not enough to see and discover the real self. Hence, Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge that helps me to discover the real nature that is beyond and behind the mind. Now, scientist is asking the question, can you show me the real self? Means real self is an object of the mind. The moment the real self becomes the object of mind, it becomes a matter. It becomes totally useless. Then there is nothing to find out. We don't want to understand this point, and then we challenge. Are you getting it? Ask the scientist, do you have a feeling? Yes. So where the feeling is located, tell me. How do you prove that you have a feeling? You may be smiling with you have a smiling on your cheeks, but internally you may be too much stressed. How can you prove? I'm giving an example. So understand, Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge that discovers the real self, which is beyond and behind the mind, that transcends the mind. I can prove anything in the material level when it becomes an object of the mind. Clear? So you see that walk together, understand together, our mind should become one together. So, as a seeker, the seeker's role is, let me see how I can align with the mind of a teacher the knowledge that is present in him so that it comes to me. Fourth line, Tejasvina vadhitamastu. Tejasvina vadhitamastu. We should have a tremendous energy. Why? For learning, for grasping, for receiving the knowledge. Okay, I'm feeling sleepy. Continue. I'm listening to you. No, that does not work. It will not work in Eastern wisdom. Why I'm pointing you out? Because once this Shanti mantra is understood clearly, then you understand yourself clearly. Are you listening with the laziness of the mind, craziness of the mind, or you are simply listening the principle that is the first step, but mind is arguing? Come on, first step, I don't know, let me know it. Second step is I don't understand, let me understand it. But even while listening, your mind starts wandering, distracting, arguing in yourself. You may not argue due to respect of my beard, but it does not mean you should not. But question is, you have to become a seeker. You see the mantra, the importance of the mantra. Are you living into that state of awareness? Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Together, our knowledge reveals our true nature. That is the objective of the mantra. Knowledge, from where the knowledge is coming? From the great masters. How? From the text. Text is the book of that knowledge and the wisdom. Who is expressing? The teacher in this situation. Who is receiving? The seeker. In what is the mode of receiving? By the seeker. I have already explained. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. With a tremendous energy. Ma vidvisha vahi. The last one is so important. What is that? Vidvisha vahi. That the teacher and the seeker should not be jealous to each other. No jealousy. Seeker should never feel that he does not know, but he should understand he does not know or she does not know only because of ignorance in the mind. When that ignorance in the mind is removed, the real self is already there inside. That knowledge will be revealed. It's a matter of lost and found. You don't create any real self, your true nature. It is already present in you. Why don't you see it? Because of ignorance. So why should I have a jealousy against the teacher that look at this, he knows and I don't know. She knows and I don't know. Ma vidvisha vahi. When I have a jealousy, it creates a delusion. Delusion creates a pride, and the pride, a vicious circle is created in the mind, and then learning is not possible. This learning, medical science, yes. Astronomy, yes. Physics, yes. Any other knowledge that gives you the skill set. You may be extremely jealous, but still you can learn driving. That gives you the skill set. But if you have jealousy in the mind and you want to learn this Eastern wisdom, you may become a great philosopher like the one who wasted his life, but claiming the boatman is wasting his 75% of the life. Mind has to be relaxed and open, not to be. Envy is not gone easily. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So there are many meanings. So in the Upanishad of Om Shanti Shanti, let me take one meaning. Om is nothing but the real self, pointer to the real self. And Upanishad says, it is the Upanishad which says we have three bodies: the physical body, the subtle body, the causal body. So you drop Shanti to the three bodies. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Got it? Briefly. Now let us, the way we have been practicing Sarve Sham, so let us do the practice once. So drop this notebook. I'm recording it, so I'll be sending you everything. Video. I have already posted that video of the first session. Kate has raised. Kate, yes, you want to? Yes, please.
Will you also send the actual Sanskrit text of what you just shared with us?
Kate, I just did. You guys already have it in your email.
Oh, okay.
Oh, very
good. And I'll
good.
send the Sarvasham, so I'll do that. I'll send the text to you, but you already have the one we just did.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, so close your eyes. Close your eyes and body. Look at the physical body from the top to the toes. Adjust and align the body. So when you adjust and align the body, you are aware of the body. When you are aware of the body, after adjustment and alignment, you feel the body is steady. In that sensation, there is comfort in the body and the steadiness. Now ask the mind to look inside the head, in the space. You look inside the forehead in the space. When I say you means mind, remain there in that space. So what happens by this step that your mind does not wander through the sense organ outside and does not distract you, which moves the body. So keep looking inside. This is just an introduction. We'll be doing other practices later, so you get some feel of it. So in the first line, every line we have three stages. The first stage, you pay attention to the singing and listening. Means you are singing mentally and you are listening to it mentally. I'm also doing it loudly for to make you understand. So first line is Om Sahana Vavatu. First line is this. Okay. So I will do it first time, and after that, three times, you will be doing singing and listening mentally. Om Sahana Vavatu. Now, Om Sahana Vavatu. Sam Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu. Now singing, listening, and meaning. So, what is the meaning? Literal meaning. Together we should move. Who is together? The seeker and the teacher and the student. With that meaning, we are singing Om Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu. Now singing, listening, meaning, and the wisdom that we apply. What is that wisdom? The knowledge is translated into experience. The mind is not going anywhere. It is on the same page, especially in this mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu. And stay there in the field of awareness. Is anything obstructing you not to be together in the form of a thought, feeling, sensation, ideas, or the mind finds that state of the calmness? You are there. Second mantra, singing and listening. Sahano bhunaktu. Sahano bhunaktu. Sahano bhunaktu. Sahano bhunaktu. Now with the meaning. Together, maybe to relish means nurture, taking care of each other. Sahanau bhunaktu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahanau bhunaktu. It also includes the protection. And now the very essence is that when we take care, we are aware of that livelihood, of that shelter, of that food done together. What happens? The mind lives on the same page. Sahanau bhunaktu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahanau bhunaktu. Third line. Sahaviryam karvavahi, sahaviryam karvavahi, sahaviryam karvavahi. Sahaviryam, our energy should work together. Sometimes people misspell it. So first let us go with that meaning. Energy, enthusiasm in learning. Sahaviryam karvavahi, sahaviryam karvavahi, sahaviryam karvavahi. Now, what is the meaning and the applied knowledge here? No wrongly reasoning. I am aware, mindful that I should not ask you the stupid questions, and you should also not be asking the wrong questions. I should check it again and again. That is the way the journey of the Eastern wisdom, teaching the master and disciple, continues. Another meaning, now see, I wanted to point out here. Viryam. The word Viryam, literal meaning means semen. So the Sanskrit language has a multiple meanings of the word. Which meaning has to be fitted, should fit, has to be understood from the commentary by the great masters. Otherwise, we just do the blunders. And I have seen a lot of people in our country, they claim that, oh, this means this. Energy, enthusiasm, right reasoning, no laziness and craziness. Let us repeat it couple of times. Sahaviryam karvavahe. Sahaviryam karvavahe. Sahaviryam karvavahe. And now Tejasvina vadhitamastu. So first, fourth line. Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Singing, listening, and meaning. Tejasvi. So here is another meaning, that I should not fall into tamasic and the rajasic guna during the study. I should reflect only on the sattvic guna. The sattvic guna means knowledge with joy in happiness. Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Tejasvinavadhitamastu. And what does it mean when we apply that? The mind is naturally focused on the knowledge, not at the physical, outfit or the physical name and the form. Why? Because we have understood we are essentially one. Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Tejasvinavadhitamastu. And the second last line, Ma vidvisha vahi, singing and listening. Ma vidvisha vahi, ma vidvisha vahi, ma vidvisha vahi. You see that in the first stage, you have to pay attention to the singing and the listening. Forget about the meaning. In the second stage, we pay attention to the singing, listening, and the meaning. Meaning, no envy, no jealousy between teacher and the students, and between the student and students also. Ma vidvisha vahi, ma vidvisha vahi, ma vidvisha vahi, ma vidvisha vahi. And now coming to the essence of this line, mantra. What is that? That the mind is not living in anger, in hesitation, in greed, in delusion, in pride, in ego. Ma vidvisha vahi, ma vidvisha vahi, ma vidvisha vahi, ma vidvisha vahi. And now the last line of the mantra, that is why it is known as the Shanti mantra. So you're singing mantrally, listening to it, meaning you drop first Shanti to the ignorant causal body deeper inside. Just for the sake of understanding, first Shanti you drop in the darkness that you see inside. Second Shanti you drop on the mind. If the mind is running, lazy, crazy, tell the mind, be in peace. Third Shanti to the body and the world. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It is better in the first long breath you simply sing Om, and in the take again the second breath in which you sing three times Shanti. So there will be an automatic pause when you are inhaling again. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. One more time. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And after that, you just reflect on what you did not understand. Just reflect, revise, recall. What did we understand? So every time you spend few minutes on that contemplation and reflection, it will help our mind to live into that knowledge. Bring your mind to the right hand, your mind to the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your closed eyes, and open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experience. Bring the hands down. How are you, Lara?
It was great. So when we first started, I had this like kind of this vibration in my center, and then went I feel like I went to the head a little bit, and then it was sort of everywhere,
Yeah,
and then it
that's
went
right.
back here. And then when we were doing the Om Shanti, it's almost, I felt like my body wasn't here.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thank you.
I see the smile on everybody's face. This is the first time we have started doing. So if you listen to that audio and you start, so the what will happen one day that you are in a restroom and the mind says, Om Sahana Bhavatu. So what happens? The mind that was unnecessarily wandering into unnecessary thought will come back. You are preparing a tea, but mind is somewhere. Mind will come back. It only happens to the seeker. How are you doing? How are you, Alex? I don't see you, Alex.
Hi, I'm good. I have never meditated with mantras before, and so I really like it. It's a lot easier for me to, like you said, come back to the moment. Like my
Yeah,
mind wanders so much in my previous meditations, and I've gotten better at getting back to the moment. But with the mantra, it's a lot easier. I
yeah.
almost felt like I left my body too. And I just
Beautiful.
very
But
warm.
you have to do the practice daily and regularly. What is very important, the stages, singing and listening, the first stage, where you don't make your mind crazy, let me know the meaning. No, singing and listening. Second stage, singing, listening, and the meaning. So the mind lives with the meaning while singing and listening. And in the third one, singing, listening, meaning, and the knowledge, applied knowledge. You live in that moment. That is what you told me. So your mind went there instantly. So living in that moment means singing, listening, meaning, and applied knowledge, wisdom. That is, so you can follow the same stages with any mantra. On Mondays and Thursdays, we have picked up another mantra. So, how are you, Bit? Can I say Bit or Bitney? I don't
Whatever
see
you
you.
want.
Oh,
Whatever works for you. I'm good. I always have a little bit of trouble with meditations because my mind just like it loves to daydream, and then I'll realize that I'm dreaming about something and then I come back, and then before I know it I'm dreaming and then I come back. So
dreaming.
work.
Can you show me your video?
I'm trying. So I think my internet connection's just really bad because right
Okay,
now on
okay,
my
okay.
screen
No,
it
no,
shows
no
that I'm
worries, no worries.
paused, and I
Now
keep trying
see,
to
it's an
add it back,
advanced
but
step, but
it doesn't
I just
respond.
want to talk about that advanced step. You use the mantra to dream. What it means? Add one more thing. What it means? I said, let us work together without jealousy. So now you dream. Ma Vidvisha, you are singing, listening, meaning. And now you see in your dream that no one is jealous of you and you are not jealous of anyone. You can use the mantra too with the daydreaming also. That will change your mindset. That's another tradition, very deeper tradition. I like you dream, but why don't you dream with the mantra?
I don't know. I think my mind just kind of
No, no.
slips away before I realize it, and I'm not really aware of it. And then all of a sudden, I just kind of realize, oh, whoa, I'm not where I
That is your
was trying to
mind.
be.
No, no, let us your mind dream with the mantra and let the mind go everywhere with that dream. Now in the world, I am the only guy. No one is jealous of me, and I am jealous of none. See that? That's another tradition. It coming from the Purana. I'm not. I'm just giving you a brief of it. So, how are you, Anto? Anto? Can I say Anto? Antoinette. Yeah.
That was very relaxing. I just got very relaxed during the whole thing.
Oh, beautiful.
You have a beautiful voice.
It's the power of knowledge. It's the wisdom coming from our teachers, the way they guide. I appreciate you went deeper. And that's really good. It is only 0.001% of the practice that I give to people. Lara knows it. So, who else is left? Kate. And then we will go further.
So it was wonderful. Thank you for holding the space. I immediately went.
Yeah, it was very good.
Boom. And then all of a sudden I was back and I'm like, oh, okay. And then, but then it was just a very peaceful, I maintained sort of a peaceful place, kind of in and out.
In and out. Yes, yes. This is just the beginning. We just experimented with the mantra and its process. And we added one more thing, that if your mind dreams a lot, use this mantra to dream. Let me have tremendous energy.
Right.
Tejasvinavadhit mastu. And you are singing in your mind, and you are dreaming, you are visualizing that you are full of tremendous energy, enthusiasm. Just do it and see what happens.
Yeah, I was still somewhat, but not consciously, because I know I was continuing to repeat the mantra, but I wasn't, right, but I kind of lost space.
Yeah.
Or space in one is a better way.
That's so beautiful. That I every day, normally whenever I find time and I'm watching TV on the screen with my honey, but the mind goes back. I imagine that I'm seeing the monastery of my master. Even the Hollywood film is going on, and I see my master is there, and I have reached. I'm touching his feet, and he is giving me the blessing. That's a very typical way of meditating. It comes from the Purana. I'm not covering that, but I'm just giving you, because bit sad that her mind goes off and on. Whose mind goes off and on? Everyone's. So now coming to the another topic. What exactly is the meaning of Upanishad? Well, we have heard about Upanishad, text 365, Shruti. They are the authentic text. You cannot change any mantra in that Upanishad. They are the final principles, continuing for the last 6 years. But 6,000 years, not 6 years. What is the meaning of the Upanishad? Upanishad. One simple meaning that people use is sitting nearby the teacher to receive the knowledge and the practice. See the beauty. Every Sanskrit word. That is why Sanskrit language is known as the language of self-discovery, spirituality, awakening. So who did this? We don't know. Why we don't know? Can you ask, why do you know? And what is the simple answer in Eastern wisdom? That these great masters never wanted to be the best-selling author of a book. I made it clear. I don't want to go further. Many people contact me on LinkedIn, and everyone says that this is my book. It is the best-selling book. So I respectfully say, very good, wonderful, beautiful. So they expect me to contact them to know the marketing aspect, and I'm very poor in marketing. Unless they push me, I don't say anything. So you see the humility of these masters. Thousands of the masters are unknown. They have scribed, they have written the Upanishads, and we don't know the authors of many Upanishads. They don't care. So that is why a teacher of the Eastern wisdom doesn't care who he or who she is. He cares or she cares the knowledge. Am I giving expression to the knowledge in a right manner? First meaning of the Upanishad. That is why sitting nearby teacher to receive the knowledge and practices. This is a very simple and common meaning. Simple and common meaning. Now let us go to the little detailed meaning. Upanishad. 3 words. Up, ni, second word, shad, third word. And you see the beauty. Once you understand the meaning of the Upanishad, you have understood almost 50% of the Upanishad. Why? Because your mind focus on this meaning. I have to extract this meaning in this Upanishad, in this teaching, in this question, in this answer. You see? So, up, the first syllable, up. Up means near. Same thing, nearby, sitting nearby. Virtually, we are sitting very close to each other. Virtually. And what is the meaning of ni and I? Commitment, sincerity, 100% dedication. This is the meaning of the Sanskrit in the Upanishad. So, up means sitting nearby. So you don't sit nearby the cop, you sit nearby the teacher. So, while learning, you don't sit nearby the honey. Teacher is more important. Why I said so? There is a Shiva, and whose honey wife is Shakti. Right? So, Tantra. There is a one branch of Tantra known as Shaivism, where Shiva is the teacher and his honey, Shakti, is a seeker. So outer relationship is totally different. It means even as husband, you can be a teacher. And there is another tradition in Tantra, it is known as Shaktism, where Shakti, the feminine principle, Shakti is the teacher and the Shiva is the seeker. It just came to my mind, so I just talked about it. So, going back, what is open? Nearby, commitment. Ni means commitment, sincerity. And now, what is the meaning of the Shad? The Shad has 3 meanings, and they go together with this Upanishad. So, what is the first meaning? First meaning, to drop, to loosen the knot of ignorance. First meaning is to loosen the knots of ignorance which is causing lot of problems in our daily life. Where is one problem? Honey, why don't you love me? But love is within you. First find love within you. Express that love to your honey. You will never be devoid of love. Symbolically, sometime I tweak that will help your life also. So the first meaning is there are three meanings. Now see that actual meaning if you want to know. The first meaning is violence, second meaning is movement, and third meaning is power. What? Violence? Violence to our ignorance. Thrash it. Crush that ignorance. Be ready all the time. So the violence is used in a positive manner. Movement. Have you heard? Asatoma Satgamaya. Movement. Movement from false to the true. Movement from ignorance to wisdom. Movement from death to immortality. Third is power. What is that power? Enthusiasm and energy. I have to, if I pursue my journey of self-discovery or sadhana with energy and enthusiasm, crushing and thrashing all that causes ignorance in me and moving from ignorance to wisdom is what Upanishad is. So you have to listen, you have to learn this again and again. Keep that in mind, learning the Upanishad. Clear? That is the meaning of the Upanishad. There are already so-called gurus in the world, and sometimes thousands and thousands of people are sitting nearby. Is the master talking about that teaching? You have to understand that. Have you read anywhere in any of the book Buddha said, I have 5 million disciples, 5 million followers? And now we can say followers. The teacher of the Eastern wisdom remains very happy, contented, because he knows or she knows that people will definitely approach him. Minimum something now in modern days, minimum marketing is required. You have to put yourself in Twitter. If you are not banned, that's a different thing. And come back. So now, have you heard the name of Arthur Schopenhauer? 19th century German greatest philosopher. Lived until 1860. Now we understand the importance of the Upanishad. What many great genius, scientists, researchers say about it. Schopenhauer, can I say that with clarity or brevity or without doubt? I won't say, but let me say it in a different way. 90% of his philosophy is based on Upanishads. What he says about the world, existence, problems, solutions. Arthur Schopenhauer, who lived until 1860, German philosopher. So I'm reading his what he says. The Upanishads are the production of the highest human wisdom. He says that. I consider them almost superhuman in conception. Understand the meaning of the conception. First, the mind conceives, then it perceives. So there is a first is the level of conception in the knowledge, then there is a perception of that knowledge, and then there is a sensation of that knowledge, experience of that knowledge. You see the wisdom given to us by those teachers, it covers almost everything. So that is why he said, Schopenhauer says, I consider them, Upanishads, almost superhuman in conception. The study of the Upanishads has been a source of a great inspiration and means of comfort to my soul. Who is saying? Who is recognized as one of the greatest philosophers ever produced in the Western world. From every sentence of the Upanishad, the deep, original, sublime thoughts arise, and the whole is pervaded by high and holy and earnest soul. Look at it. There was a great master, Aurobindo. You know, maybe if you like it, if you are a seeker, these two books summarizes all the 3,000 texts of the Eastern wisdom. One is life divine, other is the synthesis of yoga. I spent about 2 years in Aurobindo Ashram in Pondicherry. So Aurobindo is known as, again, a genius in this field and awakened. What he says, Upanishads are the works of inspiration, not of reasoning. Therefore, we shall not find in them the development of a thought or the logical connection of the sentences managed on the system of the modern writers. Why I spoke about this? Because I told you the Upanishads, you don't find the coherent, logical, systematic. That happens in the Brahma Sutra. I have repeated a couple of times. And the practices that we find in the Gita. But it does not mean they are revelations. They are the teaching based on the revelations. So that needs to be understood clearly. Going back. There is another our German philosopher, Frederick Wilhelm Joseph. He is American, but he's a German descent. Praise the Upanishads. The group they are known as transcendentalist. He is one of them. So what he says, I cannot fathom the depth of these Upanishads. So what we say, Eastern wisdom, I'm repeating again, do you remember, is an instrument of knowledge that helps us to transcend the mind. Transcendentalist Max Muller. Max Muller became obsessed with it. He became totally loved with the Upanishads, no doubt about it. He said the entire journey of the Upanishad is to know thyself. Discover yourself, your true nature. Understand, my friends? So now, let us pick a couple of things. What is the origin of the Upanishad? We should also understand the origin of the Upanishad. So you can study, but I'm just origin of the Upanishad in the Indus Valley civilization, and the origin of the Upanishad, it is the part of the Vedas. What is the meaning of Veda? Veda simply means knowledge of the reality. So some people went to India, they confined the Veda as a religious text. But what we say the Veda? It is the knowledge, the text that contains the knowledge of reality. So our great master says any text in the entire world that contains the knowledge of reality is Veda. Clear? So now this Veda, Upanishad is a part of the Veda. For thousands of years, the entire Veda, along with the Upanishad, were transmitted verbally from the master to the seekers. So the seeker again became the master. Seeker transmitted that verbally. Entire Veda, more than 100,000 pages, and those mantras, how it is possible? We don't even remember the phone number of 2 or 3 of our friends. So I'm just giving you a brief idea. I'm not going in detail. I would say there are 9 or 10 different processes, methods, and the practices of remembering these verses in the mantras, by which once you say, for example, you remember one mantra today, then you remember it, you revise that after, by roughly I'm saying, just a formula. You repeat it after 3 days, for 3 days continuously, and then you repeat for ninth day. So when you do like this, one formula, then you can remember these mantras at least for 10 years. So there are different processes and methods. This is just an example I'm giving you. I'm not going deeper into it because then topic will become different. See that? So it is whether it's 100,000 pages or doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. One example came to my mind. Muslim invaders invaded India. They burnt 90% of these texts. Only 10% of the texts are available that we are learning. But it happened that a Muslim invader invaded the house of a monastery of a master, and the master said, "Is it possible that I will come to you? I will hand over myself to you if you want to kill me. Can you give me 7 days?" So he said, "Okay." So there were the military that confined the entire monastery. But what he was doing, that is interesting to note. That master was transmitting the knowledge to his son. And he did it in 7 days, the entire whatever he has learned from his master. And he found the way for his son to escape. And then he handed over himself to the Muslim invader. And the Muslim invader, but the knowledge continued. There are many other examples of that. So that we now, when I say that Upanishads comes from the Veda, right? So Veda are books. Huh? Veda are the books. So Veda contains, no, I should not go there. So let us understand. Veda is classified into 4 classified texts. Veda is later on classified into 4 texts. 4th group of text, you can say Sahita, 1 group, Brahman, 2nd group, Aranyaka, 3rd group, Upanishad, 4th group. 4 groups. Now understand in a different way. I would say understand that so that it becomes very clear to you. When was the first cell phone invented? And what was the shape of that cell phone? Do you remember? And gradually, now it is a full computer in such a small chip-like, not even thicker than the fingers. It contains, my son was saying, no, we have to change the phone. We must have 256 gigabyte of memory. We did not have a memory in the cell phone when it was invented. Right? Now compare that Upanishad with the latest smartphone. That is Upanishad. In between, you have Aranyaka, the third group of the text. And before that, again, you have Brahmin and you have Samhita. So the very beginning started with thousands of mantras and the rituals, lot of rituals. How can you compare the ritual with the first cell phone? Sometimes we have to go outside to get a signal. You see that? So that becomes one ritual. So that's why we have lot of rituals. But once those masters continued the practice, they moved to the second group of the text. So it means there is a development. Huh? There is a clear more understanding. So that more understanding came in the Brahmin text. Then what happened? They said, no, we have to go deep within. So the third group of the text is known as Aranyaka. Aranyaka, the meaning of the Aranyaka means forest. So these masters, without any self-interest or thinking of being the best-selling author, they spent years and years in their forest. So by the name, the text came Aranyaka. So we have many great Aranyakas. And once we study, we understand how this development in evolution of the knowledge of yoga has taken place. And then what happened? Upanishads. So I told you, you got an example I compared. Modern smartphone is just a full computer. It contains so much. When we say smartphone means it can do audio, it can video and Snapchat and Twitter and Instagram and So that Upanishad is bridged, compressed knowledge. And what did you say, Kate?
I said Zoom, or what we're doing right now.
Zoom, yeah, Zoom, and this also, Hangout. So it contains so many principles, they are compressed, that I covered in the beginning. I told you. So Upanishads are the highest development of the principles, the method, the practices, realization. They are all coming from the one great text, that is Veda. Did you get it? So it is not that, if we study like, okay, there is a group of texts, is Samhita, and then Brahman, then Aranyaka, then Upanishad came. So that is only an information. Now it will go into your mind. When I gave an example, the first cell phone, so big, so thick, you cannot carry into your pocket, into even your, what you say, vanity bag. Yeah, that is what you say, vanity bag. But now those Upanishads are compressed. They are zip files. You have to open each compressed folder, and you will find hundreds of files there. And we have to pick up one after the other to understand, to treat the path of the self-discovery. Yeah, we have 5 minutes, so you may have any question.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So reading the Upanishads by yourself, you'll never truly understand. Because you
Never.
need, yeah. Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
Why? Because the teacher who is teaching should also be well versed.
Mhm.
But how he should be well versed? Because he followed the master in a seeker tradition.
Mhm.
Then again check if his master has really followed the tradition. How we know it? We know it by simple. I've already explained you. There are three groups of the text. Huh? Then you have the basic and the topical text. Then you have the commentary and the sub-commentary. So the teacher should be capable enough to teach from the commentary and the basic text. Otherwise, what will happen? The Upanishads, that is Sanskrit language, there are hundreds of translations of these Upanishads in English language. And I gave you one example.
Mhm.
Sahaviryam karva vahi. So the very translation of virya is semen, but it has different meaning. It means energy, enthusiasm. So what will happen if you are learning by yourself? Oh, now I understand. This is all about you.
And we don't fully get all of the meaning because
All of the
it has
meaning.
interpreted. Yeah.
Meaning in the sense. So that is why it's a master and a disciple tradition. I have read because my father was a great scholar of Sanskrit. So he used to teach, but he was basically an academic, a professor who was asking lot of crazy questions to a boatman. So I learned it. I had those information. But when I went to my master, and I used to interfere, I know it because I already had the information. Can you believe? Why don't you love that master? He tolerated me for 3 years. And one day he patted on my shoulder and he said, "My son, I teach what is not written in this text because I have passed through that master in a seeker tradition. That will help you understand the essence and the cream. And you have learnt it from your father who never practiced anything. He was a professor in the university. He doesn't have a time to practice. You see the difference. So that struck me, and that was the day I never spoke anything, huh, unless I had a doubt in what he taught me. So you see that when you come from that master and a disciple tradition, you follow the same tradition. You understand what is the significance of it. You have the experiential understanding. So that makes the difference in teaching. Question. Think of any question that you like to ask. Yes, Kate.
No, I'm muted just to say this is a beautiful beginning of a wonderful journey that we're going to be taking again
Yes.
next Saturday together, and then the following Saturday together. And so I
Yes.
just to thank you for your wisdom teachings and for the practice, and that's why I'm muted.
That's why you muted. So what I will do that I will send the audio file and the link of the video to Lara and Kate. I have their email.